Oh, sorry, let me turn on some lights. Get some better lighting in here. Aha. There we go. Just got one person. That's unusual. So apparently all of the statutory holidays are going to land on stream days this year. So I did Christmas and New Year's, and now I am doing a Good Friday stream as well. So I've got this little pendant thingy. It's a Murex snail shell. I've had it for well over a decade at this point. I don't even remember where I originally got it. But this has been a common subject to paint. It's got a very interesting shape. So I've done this, I've done sketches and paintings of this a few times. But I've recently made a Patreon page, which I'm super excited about. Got my first few supporters, well on my way to my first goal. And I thought it would be fun to do, so my tiers are all named after different pigments. And I thought it would be fun to my tiers are all named after different pigments. And I thought it would be fun to have the top tier named after Tyrian purple, which is the purple that was reserved for royalty way back when, like in, I think it was in the Roman era and even before. Only the top classes were allowed to wear Tyrian purple, and Tyrian purple is made from the glands. It's extracted from several species of snail in the Murex genus. Hello. Oh, look, I've got people joining me. Hi. I was getting feeling a little awkward talking to myself. Who have I got here? Okay. So yeah, so my plan is I'm going to push this a little bit further back. And then I'm going to paint, well, I'm going to sketch this Murex shell, and I'm going to paint it, but rather than painting it in the browns of the shell itself, I'm going to put it on a reddish purpley background, sort of like to look like the Tyrian purple that's extracted from it, and I will bring those tones, or possibly the complementary tones, into the snail itself. Does anyone have a preference as to which side, like which orientation I paint this in. I haven't done it this way yet, so I'm thinking maybe I might try painting it from this angle. Real quiet day here. I'm just going to refresh in case something's not showing up. Can I get a sign of life in the chat? I'm feeling a little lonely here. And find a pencil. So I was going to paint this life size, but I think I'm going to do 2 times life size to get a little bit more variation in the colors. If I can find my eraser. I've got people drifting in and out. How is everyone's Good Friday? I'm self-employed, so I don't take statutory holidays. Sometimes. But I figure when they fall on my Friday streams, then probably better off streaming through them and just catch a somewhat different audience than I might otherwise. Is anyone in the chat doing anything interesting for Easter or this weekend? We're not really celebrating much this year. Usually I would have a gathering with my family, but we're in lockdown again, or at least I'm in Ontario in Canada, and our government has been pretty bad about dealing with the pandemic. They were all right the very first wave, but our premier, our head guy, so to speak, has clearly been getting a little bit, shall we say, impatient. Okay, this is super unusual. We're 12 minutes in and I don't have anyone saying hello. This is very strange. I know it's a holiday, but come on, someone, please. Beep. Hello? Don't be shy. I'm not scary, I don't bite. Hi, Amber. Thank you. Nice to see you. How are you? How are you enjoying your holiday? Sorry, I'm working and watching. Cool. What are you working on? Like artwork or other work? Working and watching is totally cool. I have inventory in a parts warehouse. Oh, interesting. And you're working the holiday. Wish I could be painting right now. I have so much to work on. I don't think I've seen your channel. Looks like from your pictures you're doing like animal art stuff. I'll have to check it out later. Yeah, more on Instagram, but I do, or I plan to make more videos later. I do mainly animals, but I want to do nature so bad. Well, I'm assuming you're in the Northern Hemisphere? But if you're somewhere where spring is coming soon, it's a perfect time to be outside. Try painting nature. Yeah, I'm in Florida. Oh, well, great. I'm super into botanical art, but not flowers, more like herbs and vines and all kinds of plants. Yeah, I find flowers, I mean, oh man, I tend to find flowers a little bit overrated. Not like, I like flowers, it's just, you know, I'm more tempted to paint the things that people might pass up, like, that, you know, aren't generally thought of as like really pretty or interesting, and then making them pretty and interesting. Like showing what's unique about those passed up things. Have you watched my previous live streams, or is this your first one? Usually there's a little group of people here. What's my favorite thing to draw? I really like painting lichen and mosses, things that grow on tree bark. This is my first one. Okay. This has been an interesting live stream. Usually I have a bunch of people, like 15 or so, who all come on, and it's always interesting. I've had a couple of holiday streams recently, like I did, because I do Fridays, so it turns out Christmas fell on a Friday this year, New Year's. But even then, like the different set of people, but there were still, you know, a good dozen or so. This is very interesting that there's nobody here. Not that you're nobody, but this has been probably my quietest stream by far. Very, very interesting. Okay, so I've got a sketch down, and now I need to figure out what I'm doing with it. Very sorry. Oh no. This is fine. I just surprising. Sometimes the chat freezes up, so I'm always worried when I don't see anyone that it's just my chat that's frozen up. Okay, so next we'll put this here. And let's get some purples going. So Let's move this up so that you see all of it. Love your work so much, by the way. Thank you. That's really nice of you. Sorry, it's garbage day. There's a truck outside. You can hear that. So I'm just gonna get some colors going. Yeah, here. What's my favorite paint color or pigment? Well, so the one I use the most, the one I find most useful is hands down nickel azo yellow. It's a very, very transparent yellow, which makes it really nice for mixing. But I don't really paint in yellows that much. Okay, and I don't, you know, if I was just talking about my favorite color, I mean, I wouldn't, I like that yellow for its utility in watercolor. In terms of what I would paint with, what I prefer, that might be something a little bit different. It's a really good question. Glaza yellow. It depends which brand you're buying from. Sometimes it'll be called transparent yellow. Like if you buy it from Winsor Newton, it's called transparent yellow. What's your favorite paint color or pigment? Okay. Hello. Hi, Gabor. How are you? We're having a bit of a quiet stream today. All the regulars weren't here earlier on. Now you're here. Maybe the others will join soon. But I've got a new person here, so Amber's a new viewer. Amber, you might enjoy my Discord channel. The link is in the video description. I've got a little server full of lots of watercolor nerds who talk about pigments and painting, science, and a good bunch. Geez, that's hard. I have a soft spot for PR 101 and PR 102. Oh yes, those are pretty, aren't they? Especially if you're painting animals. Those are some really nice, beautiful. What's today's topic? Okay, so today I'm painting a Murex snail shell. So this is, it's actually a necklace pendant that I've had for over a decade at this point. And Murex, well, snails from the Murex genus, not all of them, but many different species are used to make Tyrian purple dye. So this is the Tyrian purple is one of the oldest pigments. It's these snails have a gland that turns the contents turn purple. They turn into a purple dye when exposed to air. Hi, Stephen. Hi, Larry. All right, so people are coming in at 2:30, right? Because I did a few streams where I was starting a bit later. All right, so I've switched to starting at 2. So if you want to catch my streams, it's 2 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time that I'm starting at now. Hello. How do I pronounce your name? Bilga? Bilja? Always curious. Anyway, so I have a Patreon that I just set up, as some of you know, and can't have enough purple choices, right? So, so I have a Patreon that I just set up where I named my Patreon tiers after different pigments. And so I am painting a Murex snail because obviously I don't have Tyrian purple. It's a very, very expensive dye. So it doesn't have the greatest utility in watercolors these days. You could make a watercolor out of it, but it might not be the most permanent, and it's atrociously expensive, and you have to kill a lot of snails to get a little bit of dye. So it's not something that I have in my collection. Let's just put it that way. But I did name my top Patreon tier after Tyrian purple, since it's like the royalty color or whatever. And I figured, whereas the other Patreon tiers, I painted just color swatches of that paint. For the Tyrian purple, instead, I would paint the snail that it comes from, and I would try to make it sort of purpley like the Tyrian purple. So I'm having fun here. I'm sketching. You can't have enough purple colors. Well, I don't have very many in this palette, really, but having fun nonetheless. Like Bill Gay. Okay, cool. Plenty of purples. I have some purples. Not very many in this palette. But I do like purples. I tend to mix them a lot, I guess, because I have so many blues in my palettes. So how is everyone this fine long weekend? Killing animals for pigments is not cool. Maybe those bugs that they harvest are red pigment, but even that is a bit sketchy. Well, yeah. Yep. Yeah, not really super. Like, I think it's cool history. And I mean, I do use natural hair brushes, which of course are rather a cruel thing as well. So I don't want to be too judgmental, but I don't think that it's like, I don't think that using Tyrian purple is necessary to my painting at all. I just, like, I think it's a cool bit of history. And yeah. We have other options now. And I think my other issue is that they're wild harvested and like our oceans are kind of dying. So I'm not sure that Murex snails are really like a top species of concern, but still, the whole thing just makes me sort of question. Anyway, so I'm not really recommending that anyone run out and buy Tyrian purple. I certainly, like, this is not Tyrian purple. This is just a bunch of other colors that I'm mixing to make something purple-y. Olga says, love manganese violet. What do you use manganese violet for? I should try it again. I think I have some. I got it a while back, but at the time I was very, very focused on only transparent, only non-granulating colors. And since then I've softened up a bit on that, and I actually do enjoy using some granulating, some muted colors. Like I have a Potter's Pink in this palette that gets a ton of use, and it's like super light valued, super granulating. But oh, okay. No, that's why would a favorite color matter if you are copying nature's colors? Well, there's a choice of which nature you are copying. There's also a choice of how you render your colors. So there's this idea of realism is just you are just painting the world exactly as it is, but I don't think that that's quite true. Because you're painting the world as you perceive it. So you're going to paint the things that you find interesting and attractive, and you're going to paint them in a way that highlights what you find interesting and attractive about the world. There's also different properties to different paints. So some paints may be more transparent or more opaque or more granulating. It's not just color. So you can mix the same shade of green a million different ways, but depending on your personal preferences, you may prefer a different starting point. So lots of reasons. You know, nothing's ever a perfect. If you're just copying, like I feel like you're always adding something when you paint. It's not just a copy, you know? I mean, there's also a lot that you can do where you're not really even following exact colors at all. Like what I'm doing here right now, you know, I'm painting purples in the, I guess the idea is to convey the purples that are extracted from this Murex shell, but like the shell itself is brown. I'm just painting it purple. So yeah, I feel like there's a lot that you can do to communicate different things that isn't necessarily Have you practiced with Casey and you ask every week? No, I have commissions to work on. I like using non-traditional color palettes. I find landscapes with the same yellow ochre, burnt sienna, ultramarine kind of too samey. I think that experimenting is really good and you find things that work for you. You evolve as you work. Happy Friday all, doing some lurking while catching up on some work. Hi, box of paint. What are you working on? Your work is always interesting. On the other hand, it is hard to get to know 30 different paints in the mixes. I feel like to some degree that experimentation, I mean, there is a learning curve for sure, but once if you're not in the habit of depending strictly on always mixing the same way, then after you experiment a bit, you can pick up a new paint or a different combination and work with it much more easily than you would if you were just always working with the same things. So the other thing that I didn't mention is I've got, what I'm painting on right now is I got these Etcher watercolor postcards. And they're kind of fun. They're a light watercolor paper, hot press, which is unusual. Sorry, I gotta go, but this is looking cool though. Thanks, Amber. Thanks for stopping by, and thanks for reassuring me when I felt I was all alone at the beginning. I put pigments into families and use the ones in the same family interchangeably. I hardly ever go for exact colors anyway. Well, yes, and I adjust in layers, for example. So, like, what I'm starting with, you know, doesn't matter so much, really. I started to doodle last night and have been going off and on all day, so decided to ink now before I change things for the millionth time. I should be tidying my desk, but meh. Aha, yes. Desk tidying is boring. I'm with you on that. Bill Gates says, I'm glad I came across your live stream. I wasn't painting for weeks. Now I'm also painting with you. I was waiting for this inspiration, I guess. That's fantastic. That's wonderful. I'm so glad that I broke you out of your rut. Hi, Candace. How are you? Bill Gates and Candace, I don't think you're on my Discord either. I have a Discord channel where I chat and nerd out throughout the week. Whole bunch of the people in this stream are in there. If you would like to, if you're ever struggling throughout the week, we have this chat channel. It's really wonderful. Loads of really cool people, and we'd love to see you. I answered out loud. Love these live streams. That's great. Cover says I'm sketching trees. Good. I'm glad you're doing your homework. We'll check it out. Sounds good. What are you working on recently, Candace? Kelly! Now we've got people. So this stream started and no one was here. Well, sorry, not no one. None of my regulars were here. And the chat was really quiet. It was sort of odd. In graphite, though. All right, well, that's fine. That's allowed, I guess, if you must. But you're the ink guy. I would sketch ink. I have to be more specific about my assignments next time. No, graphite is fine. Dan! Woohoo! Yes, now it's a party. happened to my settings here? No, give me better. Yeah. Here we go. Give me better screen quality. Let's get you a little closer here. Sorry, the missus kept me busy with decluttering and reorganizing the wardrobe. Aha! That's a thing that I ought to do. Inking is difficult. I can cover larger areas quicker with graphite. Okay, that is a perfectly good reason to use graphite. You are forgiven, and I take back everything I said. Feel free to use graphite. Yes, that is a good reason to use graphite. As long as you are not erasing all the time. Paula, hello! Oh my goodness! I'm so glad to see everyone. It was so lonely in here for a while. Okay, and then I'm gonna do here. Erasing? What is that? Also easier to create texture. Yes, all good reasons to use graphite. I am not anti-graphite. I do use graphite. I like graphite. I find that when I sketch in graphite, I get easily dragged into correcting my work, and it leads to less good initial judgment. I tend to draw more shakily, and yeah, there's like a certain confidence and a certain way of looking at the world which comes from not choosing a medium where you're going to be reworking. So I tend to avoid graphite for initial sketches. That said, I do draw in graphite where I'm doing fully rendered pieces. That's a different thing, and yes, absolutely. It is better for textures, it's better for a range of tones, certainly, than something like a fountain pen. Rollerballs do also do that, but yeah. I just finished dinner. Cool. Snail's so cool looking. Thank you. I'm having fun with it. I think over on this side where it's more lit up, I'm going to make it redder. I'll take this, and take some of this carmine, and I'm going to use that there. Anyone started on their eggs yet? Like egg dyeing, egg painting, egg eating? What am I supposed to be doing with eggs? Easter eggs. Yes, but that's not clarifying. Everyone has different egg traditions. Hiding them? Eating them? Are we talking chocolate eggs? Real eggs? Painting them? Piosenka? Chocolate ones that you eat? I haven't bought them yet. I think after this, I'm gonna place an online grocery order. And I might get some cream eggs and whatever. In the UK, you get one big egg. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, so, yeah, we're not much for chocolate eggs here. When I was younger, my parents would do like an Easter egg hunt, and we'd hide. They were like plastic eggs that had treats inside them. But I haven't done that in a while. I think once I tried to hide Easter eggs for Jordan, and he just looked at me weird because that wasn't a thing that his family did as much. Right. We do, my family does painting Easter eggs, like we do the Ukrainian wax resist piosenka. But I don't have the materials for that. My great aunt has all of that, and my mom has some. So usually that's something that I would do, like I'd go visit my family and I'd do that. So yeah, so I haven't really done anything egg related this year. We're back in lockdown as of tomorrow, but so I'm in Canada, in Ontario, and we keep getting like pushed in and out of lockdown, but every time the lockdown rules change. And so like this time it's like lockdown, but it's like the weakest little like pointless lockdown where they're like, oh yeah, no indoor dining and no gyms, but retail can be partially open and like all sorts of things can be open. And they're like, stay home, stay home, stay home. You need to stay home, but you also need to support local business. But like, it's just really weird. Like, make up your mind. What are we supposed to do? Wait, Dan is married? Dan is partnered. Don't know about married. So I used to say mother outlaw before we were legally married. I thought that was real cool. And, you know, I kind of miss it. Not married yet, anyway. Oh, do you have big plans, Dan? Has anyone tried liquid charcoal? I bought some. Does that count? I'm really excited to try it. The cats were the final test. No, not engaged either. It's weird. I've never seen myself getting married when with exes, but I could see it with my current one. That's good. I mean, not that getting married is necessary at all, but it's good that you see a future with your current partner. It doesn't count. We'll come back next week and maybe I'll try it out on stream. They have been quite well behaved today, which is making me suspicious. Okay, Dan, I'd forgotten some of what had gone on in the conversation right before. So I know that you're talking about your cats, but your last comment was about your partner, and I was like, your partner is well behaved as opposed to usually. What does your partner usually make a big, like, is your partner usually ill behaved? Is that my other half is also in the room. Hello. I'm sorry for the slander. Part of your puddle has started to look like a whale. I'm not seeing it, but cool. I'm trying to see this whale. I'm not really seeing it. like, I approve. I think whales are really nice. I like whales, but yeah, just not, no whale jumping out at me. Purple puddle top bit here. Cartoon whale, not one you'd see in our oceans. Okay. All right. Cool. Little drips are fins. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, all right. I got it. Yes, I see it. One tree done, 67 to go. Excellent. You're totally strong with this one. I think you're good at fall on deaf ears. And Bat just took a really cute pic of Loki. Go post your really cute pic of Loki in a Discord chat where I can see it. Okay, and then this one. Okay, all right, so then here. Fortune telling on the watercolor. I think you'll meet a whale in the future. That would be really cool. Maybe I'll apply to some of those, like, ocean science vessel art residencies. I've applied to a few in the past, but I never had like a particularly good application. Sometimes I'll just, like, even if I don't have like real time to really put together a proper application for something, I'm like, well, this is cool and there's an application, so I'll just fill it out. So I find this exercise quite good. I went to about A4 size and I can churn through some of my least loved pencils. Win-win. Okay, cool. I'm really glad it's working for you. sorry. I've always wanted to try that divination, like reading tea, having your fortune told, or specifically reading palette mud. That's a service you could offer, you know. It's like a Patreon tier. I'll read your palette mud. Reading tea leaves. Do you just make tea and leave the leaves in? Yes, I believe you just let the leaves sink to the bottom of the cup. You drink your teacup and then there's leaves at the bottom. Well, I'll leave that brilliant idea to someone else. So if you want to read tea leaves, okay, you know what? I am going to use some Billy Shoal quinacridone gold in here. This is from Snail. And I still haven't found my real quinacridone gold, the pan that I misplaced somewhere in my house. So this one's a mix, but it's a nice mix and I like it. And I need to yeah, I still haven't found it. It's somewhere in my house. So I'm just going to take this and run it over here. And, oh yeah, there we go. What? Student quality paint? Gabor, you're being... I thought you said that this was getting mean. Your words, not mine. We need to get t-shirts with that saying. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Well, I am quite convinced that I am not to be trusted with fulfillment. It takes me forever to get things shipped. And I really, really don't enjoy it, but I have been planning to set up like a print on demand site so that people can get prints and cards and stuff without me having to send them out. And we can talk about what kind of t-shirts to get printed so y'all can have swag. Art Nerd or Pigment Nerd Muscle System t-shirt. Pigments are my life. Hi, Lauren. Where was this shell found? At a store, I think. I think I got this. So I'm not sure. I've had it since high school, and I'm not sure if I got it in Brazil at like a little beach stand or whether this was from Kensington Market somewhere in Toronto. Is it real? Yeah, it's definitely real. It's on a little, like it's on a pendant. It's stuck, like it's got a little pendant on it. So I've worn it as a necklace. You've probably seen me wear it. But I also have used this for painting reference several times. Right? No, so it's not like you found it in Toronto. No, like I didn't find it on the beach myself. Definitely didn't. I bought it. Think I've seen it before. You might have. Have I? I've probably posted some images where I did like sketches with this. I have a natural history collection. You'll see the same things pop up over and over again, where I have like the same shells and the same crystals and the same skulls and whatever that I've reused. You know, as you learn different ways to paint things. It's nice to have these. I forgot it was Good Friday. That is why I'm having almost no calls. Yeah, well, this whole chat was pretty empty for a while. Because I was getting, you know, less people stop by on Good Friday. Yeah, I keep having weekend and holiday streams. It's sort of interesting. So I have, what am I, oh my goodness, I'm sorry, trying to figure out where I have my, another treat done. Now now a bit of a break. Cool, perfect. What have you been up to, Lauren? I knew I had seen it. Yeah, probably I've got, like, in my Instagram or something, I've posted it. I think I'm getting paid extra. That's good. This is just your regular scheduled day, right? So they didn't switch the schedule around at all. They're just paying you extra. That's good. Sorry, I have to leave. Have a great weekend, all. Have a nice weekend, Larry. Thanks for stopping by. I saw you added a place where we could put pics and vids in your Discord. I did. I thought that, well, I mean, first of all, I was kind of annoyed at myself because I kept posting new videos and stuff right in general. So it was like people were having a discussion. Here I am, like, oh, here, look at my stuff. Like, that's not really the place for it, even though it's my Discord. But also, I thought it was nice to have other people be able to post stuff that's not necessarily like an educational thing. Just, you know, promote yourself. We're all artists. We're all supporting each other. Or post other things that they find cool on the internet, like promote others, lift us all up together. So yeah, now people can post their stuff. I've also posted links to some of the other artists who do live streams over the weekend, so that's also in the comments in the video description. For the record, I hate them. I'm glad they're only around at Easter. I don't know that I've ever actually eaten Peeps. Like, I've seen them for sure, but... Peeps equals friends. So Peeps are, they're like a little marshmallow. They're like this big, and they're like a marshmallow candy that's, it's like covered in sugar and yellow, usually, although now they come in different colors and different flavors. It's like a marshmallow candy that's shaped like a chick. I haven't eaten them though. Giant marshmallow, that sounds disappointing. Yeah. Hi, Cyan, how are you? Is today a sauna day or no? And the color of them is enough to literally dye your insides for weeks. Oh, delightful. Are they veggie friendly? I have no idea. I think so, actually. I think they're like one of those things like Oreos that are like surprisingly vegan, but I'm not actually sure about that. Marshmallows have gelatin. Many marshmallows do, but there are like vegetable derived gelatin alternatives, I guess, that are used in a lot of chewy friendly things like marshmallows and stuff. I have a big mail day tomorrow. I have so many things to mail out that are so late. It's really bad. But this is why I don't do fulfillment, guys. This is why I don't have like merch, because I can't be trusted. Need to place my Jackson's order tonight. Ooh. Order Lee's new t-shirt. What new t-shirt? I don't have a t-shirt. We are about to have the perfect sauna weather. I doubt it, but the forecast says snow next week. Oh, interesting. We've had a couple of cold days, but then the next week is all like 15 degrees Celsius. And sunny, and then we have a little bit of rain, but it's all like nice and warm. And so I'm hoping that this is the beginning to like actual spring here in Canada, and that we won't have like hard frosts after tomorrow night. It's been like -7 overnight the past few nights, which I don't have much planted out yet, which, you know, because this is normal weather, but I have some peas that I started indoors that really need to get outside, and they can handle a light frost, but not like -7. We are 20°C and sunny during the day. That's beautiful. That is beautiful. That's wonderful weather. Ruthann. Hi, Ruthann! And you're welcome. Do you need more seedlings? Because I've got so many seedlings. I was too excited and spent a lot of this week planting and found out too late the cold is coming. I'm starting seedling babies from them this year. Oh, yes, 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 because I gave you a bunch of seeds as well as seedlings, didn't I? That's wonderful. That's so good. Nice. That's great. We know this about you, Lee, but love you anyway. What do we know about me? That I'm a spaz? That I'm bad at fulfillment? Kelly, I've got the biggest box for you. I've got just like... It's taken forever to get to you, but when it gets there, it's gonna be awesome. I'm sending it tomorrow, and it'll be worth your while, I promise. said the next morning, I think you broke it. It's all steamy. Aw. I got I've got a seedling heating mat and little greenhouses going downstairs. Some of my peppers I'm a little concerned about. Like, I don't know what I did to the soil. I think that they were, I don't know, overheated or underheated, overwatered. They're recovering now, I think, but some of my peppers had a hard go. Okay, and let's go with there. And let's get that. And I'm actually going to try that overtly. Gotta go see ya. See ya, Lauren. Have a nice weekend. Say hi to Dad for me. In case anyone's wondering, that's my brother. Didn't know your bro was watching. Yeah. Lauren's my baby brother. It's terrarium has mesh top. It really helps to keep humidity at reasonable levels. I need to stop. I've been watching YouTube videos about the IKEA glass cabinet greenhouse conversions, because like obviously I don't have enough plants in this house. I need to stop. There's no room. I don't think my wife would like any more plants in the house. Oh no, why wouldn't she like plants? There's no such thing as... I need more. I think I've just killed another cactus. Oh no. Well, Dan, as much as I'm tempted to agree with you, I think I have maybe reached the point where I have too many plants. Specifically, it's not like there's still places that I could put plants in my house, but the problem is that I live in Canada and we only have so many south-facing windows. So things like subtropicals, like I've got a lot of citrus, really need our sunniest windows for much of the year. And can't go outside. Can't live outside. So yeah. Eventually, I plan to build myself a passive solar greenhouse, but until such a time, I have reached, like, right now it's okay, but those citrus, they're going to grow into trees, and I don't really have room for as many trees as I already have. And I just sort of figured, well, I'll figure it out as I go, which is, you know, that's a strategy. She called me crazy for buying the seedling mat. But no. I disagree with her, Paolo. I think you should have plants if they make you happy. Now I want to get a kaffir lime tree and a Buddha's hand. I have a kaffir lime. So I have a kaffir lime, and I recently got a Meyer lemon and a tangerine. I have yuzu seeds that haven't sprouted yet. They're sprouting now. So I'm working on a yuzu tree from seed, and it's deliberately from seed because yuzu grows true to type, unlike many citrus. So I can just grow from seed. And also because I'm not going to have a place that I can put a yuzu tree that isn't like in a window for at least another 5 years. So it's fine that it's going to be tiny and not going to fruit for 10 years, because then by that point I might have a greenhouse that I can put it in. I bought the tree because I wasn't ever able to start them from seeds. Yes, I mean, if it doesn't work, then I'll buy the tree eventually. But yuzu is nice. So some things like the kaffir lime will always have to be like an indoor tree. I think. Like, even if I have, so my plan is to build myself a passive solar greenhouse when, like, we're gonna buy property as our plan. So we're gonna buy a larger property and build a home. And I want to have on the south facing wall a passive solar greenhouse attached to the house. Quite a large one. And so it'll be insulated, it'll be completely insulated on the north side, south facing windows for solar gains, and very little supplemental heat. And based on my calculations and the examples that I've seen stocking this stuff online, it seems like I'm in a zone 5 and probably would be buying in a similar zone, climate zone. So it's like it gets to like -30 outside. And in the winter, and it seems like I could, if I'm good about how I build my greenhouse and have insulation and stuff, I can get myself up to about a zone 9 without serious supplemental heat, which is good enough for many citrus, but kaffir limes are picky. So even though it's actually doing quite well indoors, I probably wouldn't be able to put it in a greenhouse. Yuzu, on the other hand, is like one of the hardiest citrus and could almost survive outside. Not quite, but it would certainly, like in a greenhouse, it would be fine here. Citrus is my black thumb, but I think that's climate more than me. Yeah, I mean, citrus is pretty fussy, right? Like it wants humidity, but it wants its soil to be not waterlogged. It wants a lot more sun than you can usually get most places indoors. So if you're gonna have to move it in and out, Yeah, so I mean, I've been trying to choose citrus that are likely to survive in my eventual greenhouse. Choosing plants. I'm also growing guava from seed. So this is ridiculous where I currently live. You know, I have a house in the city in Canada, and I'm like traipsing subtropical trees in and out of the house. But my goal then is that I can get, once we get property, we'll build ourselves a place and I'll have an attached greenhouse. And I think that I can get it to where it basically never goes below 0. So we will still have a winter, but it won't freeze. We might get a few light frosts and a few spots in the greenhouse, but like the greenhouse will not ever freeze. And that seems pretty doable with like very minimal additional energy input. And so then I'll be able to grow citrus, I'll be able to grow guava, ginger year-round, lemongrass, other fun stuff, passion fruit. Yeah, passion fruit. Mind you, we're also growing, this year I'm starting a passion fruit outdoors. So there's an American passion fruit, frequently called maypops, but it's from the passion fruit family, and it tastes like passion fruit, that you can grow even outdoors in my climate. So I'm going to grow maypops outdoors. I'm also starting other like tropical, subtropical passion fruits from seed. Yeah, they grow really, really fast, don't they? We get them once in a while in the UK supermarket and have been told kumquats will grow here. They just go brown within days. For us, so no idea what they're doing at the greenhouse to keep them looking so good. Yeah, so supposedly, yeah, so kumquats would be hardier. I've got a Meyer lemon, which is the hardiest of the lemons because it's crossed with tangerine stock. Um, I've got a tangerine. Um, trying to grow yuzu. So all of those things could go in a greenhouse, no problem. Anything that would grow in the subtropics would be fine. It's like I won't be able to grow mangoes. Because they really need, like, they don't want a cold season at all. I also wanted to grow tomatillos because we don't get them over here. I can send you tomatillo seeds. I'm sending you, I've got a package for you. I'm going to the post office tomorrow. That's my plan for tomorrow. So I can get you tomatillo seeds. I've got plenty. Yes, they are. Yeah, passion fruit is beautiful. Yeah, and tomatillos, they start really quickly. So even if it takes some time to get to Portugal, you'll still have plenty of time to start them and have a full harvest before you ever get any bad weather. Yeah, sorry to all the people who I promised stuff to that I haven't mailed to. Yeah, tomatillos are really, really, really prolific. They're like kind of insane plants. Does your wife feel better about the plants, like if she can get food from them? Because I know that that's, my husband's not crazy, crazy about my plant obsessions, but, he really likes eating citrus, so he looks at the citrus. Like, okay, well, fine. I guess that's all right. Importing seeds into the EU, I'm marking them art supplies. I wish I had a little balcony. I'd grow forest strawberries and dandelions for my bunners. Yeah, I also grow lots of strawberries. Lots and lots of strawberries. Berries in general, actually. Sorry, I keep pulling this out of the way here. Okay. Bring this forward a bit. Oh, like the post office didn't want to send on the sketchbook exchange? Dang. Okay. All right. Well, I will make sure that I send you something nicely packaged. Like I'm not, yeah. Double check that I'm not actually sending anything that's likely to cause any issues, but Maybe just use a normal envelope, not a package, I would say. Yeah, I'll use a normal envelope, but then I'll just, like put it in a card or something so that there's no, so it's not super obvious what's inside. Make sure the seeds don't be a giveaway. Include a half pan of something nice too and play dumbly. Yeah. Paula's getting orange things. Orange, like seeds for orange things. So, some marigolds and orange cosmos and orange peppers and, well, and apparently tomatillos. The tomatillos, you get a choice between purple and yellow. So, yep, and there's that, and over here, and this. And I'm gonna go grab some white ink to get some of these highlights back in. I have white ink somewhere. Aha. Orange peppers are not that common over here. I ordered too many packages of Doe Hill peppers, which are like this small orange pepper. They're early. They're some of the earliest, which again means that even though it's really late to start peppers, you'll still get a harvest because they're made to grow in really, really short Canadian seasons. Oh my goodness. What is with this? That's quite the thick ink. Like, look at this. Is this normal? Is it normal for this ink to be this thick? This is the bleed proof white. I've never used it before. But I just, like, I thought that it would be nice to have just a few little you just thin it with a bit of water. Okay, I'm gonna go grab some extra water then. Hi Lana, how are you? Okay, I'm gonna grab some clean water. How are you? Okay, I have some bleed-proof white here, which I've watered down. And then, let's see, over here, get some, hey, huh, it's a little white, kind of burping. Huh, huh. No, 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 no. Okay, let's try with a brush. I'm not sure I like that. Well, that's fine. We'll just paint over it later. Not cool. Not cool. Test Paperly. Test. No, too impatient. Clearly. Here. Okay. All right. Fine. We're gonna let this be for a moment. It's bleeding now. Yeah. Yeah, okay. We're gonna leave that be for a moment and come back to it while I come up with a plan. Okay, if I take this sheet of test paper and I apply some white to my pen here. Aha, that's what I wanted. Okay, great. No, it's okay. It's all right. I just needed to I'm assuming it's like an acrylic base because you can run over it. Anyway, so I am just gonna run just a little bit here and then I'll let that dry for a bit and then just add some dark details on top of that. Oh, could be an acrylic. Well, or it could just be that it's like a really weak acrylic binder so that if you water it down, it doesn't fix fully. I thought it was an acrylic ink, but I could be wrong. Should I leave the background white or should I put it on like a gold background? I thought it was supposed to be waterproof once it's dry. Yeah, I thought it was like a weak acrylic binder, but I could be wrong. Again, I'm hardly the expert. This is the first time I'm using it. Gold background. Okay. I mean, it's not going to be like a shiny gold. It'll be like a quin gold, but yeah. Is it an opaque watercolor? That sounds fancy. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Certainly for scanning. I do actually have like sparkly gold, but I won't scan with sparkly gold, so. Dr. P.H. Martin says it's a watercolor. Oh, well then, it's a watercolor. So, an opaque watercolor. Okay, cool. Neat. Good to know. Sorry, I keep pushing this off the screen. So then I'm gonna let this dry for a moment, but I think that I need just a little bit more of the darkest edges to set off the lightest ones. And they say the manufacturing process is different from watercolor. Yes, Inktense confuses me. Because it's supposedly permanent once it's dry, but also it's available in these like brick forms, so I don't know. Maybe they're just using a different binder. Derwent has also released Graphitint pans. I'm tempted to contact Derwent. Candace, are you still here? So if I recall correctly, Derwent Canada contacted Candace Leland, who was watching earlier, and she was doing a few collaboration things with them. I was wondering whether I could piggyback a little and maybe have her find out some stuff. Graphitint have graphite in them and some pigment. Yeah. But they're also, so they've also made sets now. Like you can get Graphitint sets, like a little, they look like little watercolor pans, kind of like the, it has a transparent ink-like wash, unlike a traditional watercolor. In what way is it Really? It seems very much like watercolor to me. Is it Derwent Inktense pencils wax or oiled? What are they saying? That is fascinating, isn't it? What do they think watercolor is? Excellent question. Inktense is permanent once they are dry. I don't believe that it is, though, because they sell Inktense in blocks and pans as well. So if you can use Inktense like a pan where you wet it and then you paint out of it and then it redries and then you wet it again, then it's not very permanent when it's dry, is it? Graphitint and tinted charcoal are just like Inktense in behavior. Is once rewet, they change properties. You can use Inktense on cloths. So that's what I thought Inktense was. But now they sell, now Derwent, Paolo, can you find a link and link it so the Gubber can see? But they sell Inktense in like, they look like the little cotton sets with pans of Inktense so that you can take a brush and wet it and paint it and then close it back up and use it again. I get the prop email every week. Yeah, so I'm a little confused. Like, they could be staining colors, but how is that different from watercolor? Yeah, I'm confused as to what it is they are selling and why. I mean, sorry, I understand the drive for companies to say, oh, this is like watercolor but different. You know, Core did that to a degree. Think about water-soluble graphite. Yeah, I don't totally buy that water-soluble graphite is all that different from watercolor either. I mean, it's graphite, but it's, yeah. It changes properties after being wetted. Yes. Somewhat. But, like, you can still re-wet it. The ones with graphite added are a lot of fun to play with, but too dark to use as a palette. I think they might be fun to like, you'd get something very, very muted. There's permanent on paper. What you usually see in rewettable is the papers. If you want, we can have a call and I can demo them. I have the ink tents. I mean, sure. We can have a call. I've tried them. I've read the pigment information for them. Like the pencil ones I used to have. I don't have the watercolor set, but I mean, it's supposedly the same stuff, so. I haven't tried them on fabric, but then I also wonder whether if you were to paint with regular watercolors on fabric, whether that wouldn't just be the same. Likewise with like water-soluble graphite and water-soluble carbon. I mean, how does that differ from, for example, graphite pigment watercolor? If you ask Schminke and their new water-soluble carbon, it doesn't. It's a watercolor. They've made their new line, their new like water-soluble carbon, but you know, they make it with gum arabic, they make it with whatever. They say you can mix it with watercolor. It's watercolor. Yeah, okay, so that just re-wets slightly, that white, which is fine, because I can use it to blend out. It's getting a little muddy though, so I'm gonna stop fussing with that so much. And then I'm gonna I've tried to get info on the Vierco art graph. Yeah, Graphitint is made with, it's graphite and other pigments. So it's tinted graphite and it is water soluble. Now, again, the concept of water soluble graphite, all graphite has some water soluble properties. Now, water soluble graphite just has something added to make it flow, and then something added to make it stick. So I'm assuming if you get a pencil with water soluble graphite, it's going to have some kind of wax base like your regular pencils. It's also going to have a little bit of gum arabic and some wetting agent to make it flow, so that when you add water, it flows across your paper, much like a watercolor pencil. Now, interestingly, I really enjoy water-soluble graphite, but I can't figure out watercolor pencils to save my life. Well, I think I didn't let this dry enough as well, so I mean, that's on me. But I'm just trying to get some of this shading, this detail in. And then just to try to stop that from, I'll just pick that up a little bit. I know some people have similar issues with carbon or graphite, like water-soluble graphite, as with watercolor pencils. Now, I have tons of trouble with watercolor pencils, but I find water-soluble graphite, I don't know, I use it differently than I use watercolors, but it really works for me, and I just haven't been able to achieve the same things with watercolor pencils. It's just, watercolor pencils seem to me like they've got all the disadvantages of watercolor and colored pencils, and like, you know, they're a mix of these two things, but rather than having the advantages of both, I feel like they've got the disadvantages of both. Now, I've seen beautiful things done with watercolor pencils. This isn't a judgment. Like, this is a judgment of my ability to use the medium, not a... Glad to know I'm not alone, Lise. Okay, so I think this is just about done. As done as it's getting, this little sketchy thing. And one of you can have this as your sketch in the sketchbook exchange in the postcard. Love water-soluble graphite. I love water-soluble graphite. I love water-soluble graphite, water-soluble carbon. So I just got the new Schminke ones, and I'm really excited about trying that. Did you get all three? I plan them for my next haul. Yes, I've got, I had to get creative with ordering them. So I found all three at Arte Miranda, and then I shared them, and then immediately the cool tone one sold out. So I did get all three, but I got two of them from Arte Miranda, and the other one I had to order from the Society for All Artists. So I have two of them have arrived so far, because I got them at Arte Miranda order. But I'm still missing the third one. Sleepy Joy incoming. Good morning, Joy. How are you feeling? I've pretty much just finished my my little sketch here, so I'm just sort of waiting for it to dry, but I think this is about all that I'm doing with this. Be a pretty summer postcard. Well, it's getting sent out with the sketchbooks because there were not enough postcards in my sketchbook for everyone to get one. So then I promised that I would send out some more for the people who don't get one from the back of the sketchbook. So this'll be an option for that. And it's the end of daylight savings this week. Oh no! So we're going to be even further off on our schedules. I'm going to contact Viarco again. That would be cool. I would really like to try they have a white, and yeah, I think that it would be really neat on toned paper. I really like working on toned paper, but I don't have a great solution that I love for adding like pure white to toned paper. I do really like this background. I think it really helps the purple pop out. Teo was not a real fan of the Viarco white, as far as I know. Yeah, that was kind of like, I was really excited about the Viarco Taylor shape set, and then I saw Teo's review and like looked into them a little more and was a little discouraged. But I do have their water soluble carbon, the block. Do I have it handy? And I really like that. So always difficult to note because sometimes people, you know, different people have very, very different experiences. He thought it was really weak. He thought all of the colors were just like not, you know, it was like almost there. It's like so much promise and yet not very good was, I think, like the main gist of Teo's impressions. So as this dries, some of the darkest darks recede a little. So then I'm just trying to add as much contrast as I can here. I don't want to lose any of these highlights either. So I've made this quite dark. So I'm just trying to, just in the very darkest darks, just add a little bit more contrast. The little square things, yeah. Sorry, I have some somewhere. One moment. Where did I put? Can't find anything in the studio. There we go, found it. So this is their art graph. This is their carbon block. So it's water soluble carbon. It's rusted a little in my Altoids tin, but what's the golden background? It is quinacridone gold hue by Synthete. Their water-soluble graphite in a tin is so nice. I haven't tried that one. But yes, I really like a lot of the water-soluble graphite, the water-soluble carbon. I like using them in combination with like regular pencils. Because you can make like a lot of big washes, and then you can go in with regular pencils and add texture, and then you can add like dark highlights with the water soluble stuff. So it's really like, that's how I use them. I wondered if you had made some Quinn Gold paint out of last week's experiment. I did not. Last week's experiment was not very successful. Okay, well, I think this is about it for today's video. Thank you all for joining. If we want to continue this chat, we can take it to Discord. That's the one. Discord link is in the video description, so don't forget to check that out. And this painting is going to be the tier art for my top tier over on Patreon. My Patreon link is also in the description. And I don't expect very many people to go for that top super expensive tier, but I have tiers starting at $3 Canadian, which is like €1.50. So if you want to support me on Patreon, that would be really awesome. Link is in the description, and you won't get charged until next month. Also hit like. Yeah. Thanks, everyone. I wish Hanamula made toned cotton watercolor paper too. Ooh, yes, I do wish that Hanamula made toned watercolor paper. Thanks, guys. Thank you. This was lots of fun.